Kaylee from K-Books, and this is my wrap-up post for March 2015. So I read about 5 books. I have 4 of them in paperback to show you, so let's get going. So the first book I read this month was Cress by Marissa Meyer. Even though I have the hard copy now, I actually listened to the audio edition, but I love this series so much I just had to go and buy them on paperback. So this is the 3rd book in Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicles, and it's basically each one is like a different fairy tale, and it's a retelling, but they all link together and they're all in space. So this, as you can probably see from the cover, is Rapunzel. I loved this book. I gave it 5 stars. I don't want to say too much because for those who haven't read the series, it will be majorly spoilery. But this book was amazing. I am so excited for Winter, which is the last book in the series. If you have not yet read this series, I would highly recommend you do so because it's absolutely phenomenal. The next book I read was The Maze Runner by James Dashner. This is the first book in the Maze Runner trilogy. I was really disappointed with this. I ended up DNFing it, so I didn't actually finish. I have had this book on my shelf for forever. And after watching the movie with my family, I decided to start it. The movie was absolutely stunning, so there is no sort of reservations whatsoever about the fact that James Dashner knows how to tell a really good story, because it was phenomenal. I loved the movie. The movie was amazing. The story is amazing. But this is the 3rd time I've started this book, and this is the 3rd time I have DNF'd it, because it's just too slow to begin with. Like, I know this from the movie, the story is there, the story is phenomenal, but I just can't seem to get there to the story starting because I'm just bored. So unfortunately I have decided that I'm just going to watch the movies for this series, and the books are just not for me. The next book I read I don't actually have. This was an audiobook that I listened to, and this was Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rash. This is a young adult fantasy novel, and it is Sarah's debut, and it was absolutely stunning. I genuinely cannot say enough good things about it. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved every moment of it. I loved the storyline, I loved the characters, I loved the romance. I loved how the romance wasn't wholly important to the story. It just sort of complemented the story a little bit, and I loved that because that was done perfectly to me. So yeah, I really loved that book, and I cannot wait for book 2. The next one I read was a buddy read with Donna from Book Passion for Life, and we buddy read Fairest, which is book 3.5 in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I gave this one 4 stars. This one is Levana's story. So Levana is basically the evil queen in the series, and this is her story of how she became evil queen. And I felt for Levana a lot while I was reading this. She had such a horrible life, but at the same time she was pretty cruel and harsh from being very young. So there's parts where, yes, I felt for her so much, but I still kind of hate her as well. But I know some of my friends don't actually want to read this. They just like the sort of the Lunar Chronicles to sit as they are. But I think it's definitely worth reading because it gives you a lot of insight to Levana and how Levana's mind works and things like that. So it's definitely worth a read. And this is one of my favourite series. I will definitely reread this series over and over again, and I would always reread Fairest because I just thought it was a fantastic addition to the series. And the last book I read this month was Nowhere But Here by Katie McGarry. This is the first book in her new series, the Thunder Road series. It's not out yet. I believe it's on sale June. But I got an ARC from the UK publisher, so a massive thank you to Mira Inc. for this. I adored it. I gave it 5 stars. I love Katie McGarry books. I adore them. I have loved Katie McGarry ever since I first read her debut novel, Pushing the Limits, which I got as an ARC. And no matter... I've read all that series, and no matter how many of that series that I read, Pushing the Limits was always my favourite. Echo and Noah were always my favourite Katie McGarry characters. I think that Emily and Oz may have taken over for me. I think I may have loved Nowhere But Here even more than Pushing the Limits. It's just stunning. It's amazing. I don't want to say too much because it's not actually out yet, but it's different from any other contemporary I've read, and I loved that. I thought it was perfect. It was just amazing. I only finished this a couple of days ago and already I want to reread it. It's got everything. It's got the sweet girl, it's got the bad boy who's in a motorcycle gang or wants to be in a motorcycle gang, and I just loved it. It's similar to other contemporary, but at the same time it's completely 100% different. So you still have the good girl and the bad guy and the romance between them, but it's very slow burning, and I liked that. I liked that it was very slow burning and it wasn't just, oh, romance straight away. It was that you had to build up their relationship first. And I loved that. And it is, I'm not going to say why it's different from other contemporaries, but it really is. And you just have to read this book as soon as it comes out because it's phenomenal. Okay, so my top 3 books of the month. Number 3 is Cress by Marissa Meyer. I loved this. It was a fantastic addition to the Lunar Chronicles series, and I'm dying to get my hands on Winter. Number 2 was Nowhere But Here by Katie McGarry, because it was just utterly stunning and amazing. And number 1 has got to be Snow Like Ashes. It was fantastic. Young adult epic fantasy is fast becoming one of my favourite genres, and it was just stunning. I just loved every moment of it, and I can't wait for book 2. So that's it for this month. Join me next month to see what books I read in April 2015. So thanks for watching. Bye!